Hello, I'm Mary Lou Metzger. Welcome to the Lawrence Welk Show. The program you're about to see is called Big City USA and was taped in 1982. We'll see some great musical songs like Walkin' Happy, sung by Ken Delo, Spanish Harlem, sung by Anacani, and Oh, What a Beautiful Morning, sung by Joe Feeney. At the end of our program, I have a very special visit with Welk star Bobby Burgess, who provides us with some fascinating stories about his life on the Lawrence Welk Show. So stay with us. And now, here's the longtime announcer of the Welk Show, Bob Warren, to get things started.
And now, here he is, Mr. Music Maker himself, Lawrence Welk.
On a wonderful day like today, I defy any cloud to appear in the sky, dare any raindrop to plop in my eye. On a wonderful day like today, on a wonderful morning like this, when the sun is as big as a yellow balloon, even the sparrows are singing in tune. On a wonderful morning like this.
On a morning like this, I could kiss everybody. I'm so full of love and goodwill.
Furthermore, let me say I adore everybody. To come and dine, the pleasure's mine, and I will pay the bill. Let me take this occasion to say that the whole human race should go down on its knees, show that they're grateful for mornings like these, for the world's in a wonderful way. On a beautiful day, on a wonderful day like today. Wonderful day!
Our nation's biggest city, New York, has been the subject of many great songs. This all-time favorite by Rodgers and Hart is still one of the best. Here's the band with Manhattan. 1 and 2.
Some beautiful champagne music. With this next song, we'd like to pay tribute to some dedicated public servants who seldom get the recognition and the credit they deserve. I'm speaking of the members of our police departments in all of our big cities. Let's join a happy officer, Ken Delo.
Kind of walk you walk when you're walking proud. There's the kind of walk you walk when the neighbors shun you. There's the kind of walk you walk sets you above the crowd. There's the kind of walk you walk when somebody loves you. That's very much like walking on a cloud. Good fortune found you, chappie, and your life's a happy Valentine. When you're walking happy, don't the bloomin' world seem fine? There's the kind of walk you walk when you feel like crowing. There's the kind of walk you walk when you're on your way. There's the kind of walk you walk when your pride is showing. There's the kind of walk you walk when today's your day. There's the kind of walk you walk when the world's all rainbows and your heart's hopping like a poppin' jay. Good fortune found you, chappie, and your life's a happy Valentine. When you're walking happy, don't the bloomin' world seem fine? Ain't the world so fine? Walking happy is fine. Everything's so fine.
People of all nationalities make up the great city of New York. Many of them live in their own special neighborhoods. Lovely Anacani has a song about a section known as Spanish Harlem.
There is a rose in Spanish Harlem, a red rose up in Spanish Harlem. It is a special one, it's never seen the sun. It only comes out when the moon is on the run and all the stars are gleaming. It's growing in the street, right up through the concrete, but soft and sweet and dreaming. En un rosal de Spanish Harlem, corté una flor de Spanish Harlem. Sus ojos negros son la noche sobre el mar y llevan al mirar con fuego de ilusión y claridad mi alma. La tengo en mi jardín y perfuma de amor y empieza la mañana. With eyes as black as coal that look down in my soul and start a fire there, and then I lose control. I have to beg your pardon. It's growing in the street, right up through the concrete, but soft and sweet and dreaming. I'm dreaming.
Anacani, isn't she wonderful? Bobby and Elaine bring an original routine that should recall memories of a famous movie comedian. Here they are dancing to the song City Lights.
Thank you all so much. Here's a song that was a big hit for singer, guitarist, and golfer Glenn Campbell. Let's enjoy it with Jim Turner.
I've been walking these streets so long, singing the same old song. I know every crack on the dirty sidewalks of Broadway, where hustle's the name of the game, and nice guys get washed away like the snow and the rain. There's been a load of compromising on the road to my horizon, but I'm gonna be where the lights are shining on me, like a rhinestone cowboy, riding out on a horse in a star-spangled rodeo, like a rhinestone cowboy, getting cards and letters from people I don't even know, and offers coming over the phone. There's been a load of compromising on the road to my horizon, Lord, but I'm gonna be where the lights are shining on me, like a rhinestone cowboy, riding out on a horse in a star-spangled rodeo, like a rhinestone cowboy, getting cards and letters from people I don't even know, and offers coming over the phone, like a rhinestone cowboy. Thank you.
The Aldridge sisters and the Knoxville, Tennessee, and the Otwell twins from Tulia, Texas, are really enjoying life in the big city. Let's join these youngsters as they take us downtown.
When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown. When you've got worries, all the noise and the hurry seems to help, I know. Downtown. Just listen to the music, all the traffic in the city.
Linger on the sidewalk where the neon signs are pretty.
How can you lose? The lights are much brighter there. You can forget all your troubles, forget all your cares, and go downtown. Things will be great when you're downtown. No better place for sure, downtown. Everything's waiting for you. Don't hang around and let your problems surround you. There are movie shows downtown.
Maybe you know some little places to go to where they never close. Downtown.
Just listen to the rhythm of a gentle bossa nova.
You'll be dancing with them too before the night is over. Happy again. So maybe I'll see you there. We can't forget all our troubles, forget all our cares, and go downtown. Things will be great when you're downtown. No better place for sure, downtown. Everything's waiting for you.
Everything's waiting for you.
Downtown.
Everything's waiting for you.
Nicely done, young people. It doesn't matter whether you live in a big city or in the country. It's always nice to start the day in a cheerful frame of mind. Joe Feeney and Myron Floren bring you a happy song from the great show, Oklahoma.
There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like it's climbing clear up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the sound of the earth is like music. All the sound of the earth is like music. The bee is so busy, it don't miss a tree. And an old weeping willer is laughing at me. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, what a beautiful day. Beautiful. Myron Floren, ladies and gentlemen.
Very, very nice, Joe and Myron. In the early 1900s, composer Victor Herbert was the toast of Broadway. His music became popular all over the world and today still retains its charm. George Cates conducts the band in a concert arrangement of some of Victor Herbert's great songs.
Wasn't that a great medley? I just love the songs by Victor Herbert. Coming up, we'll be treated to a beautiful rendition of I Left My Heart in San Francisco by Jimmy Roberts, and Arthur Duncan dancing to Way Down Yonder in New Orleans. Be sure to stay with us at the end of our program for a fascinating visit with the very talented Bobby Burgess. And now, back to the show.
This evening, instead of our weekly big band salute, we'd like to pay tribute to one of the greatest jazz musicians in history, the late Louis Armstrong. We also salute his hometown, New Orleans, with a song long associated with this fascinating city, When the Saints Go Marching In. Gentlemen, 1, 2.
When the Saints Go Marching In, champagne style, and with a special spotlight on Bob Havens, who developed a lot of his style right down in New Orleans. Also Paul Humphrey from Motown, Detroit, Michigan. Here's a pretty song about big city living, Penthouse style. And you'll hear our wonderful trio, Gail, Ron, and Michael.
Just picture a penthouse way up in the sky, with hinges on chimneys for stars to go by. A sweet slice of heaven for just you and I. When we're alone from all of society, we'll stay aloof and live in propriety here on the roof. To heavenly hermits we will be in truth when we're alone. We'll see life's mad pattern
as we view old Manhattan.
Then we can thank our lucky stars that we're living as we are. In our little penthouse we'll always contrive to keep love and romance forever alive. In view of the Hudson, just over the drive, when we're alone. keep love and romance forever alive. In view of the Hudson, just over the drive, when we're alone.
Thank you very much, folks. And here's our king of taps, Arthur Duncan, dancing to the all-time favorite, Way Down Yonder in New Orleans. Bob Smale, take it away. It's always a pleasure to salute the beautiful city by the Golden Gate, especially with a song that's always high on our request list. First, let's listen to our fine saxophone section, and then the voice of Jimmy Roberts. 1, 2, 3.
My heart in San Francisco, high on a hill, it calls to me to be where little cable cars climb halfway to the stars. The morning fog may chill the air. I don't care, my love waits there in San Francisco, above the blue and windy sea. When I come home to you, San Francisco, your golden sun will shine for
Thank you, Jimmy. Very nicely done. Kansas City is a fast-growing, progressive, and friendly town. We've always enjoyed playing there. Right now, Kathie Sullivan has some nice things to say about this great Midwest city.
I got to Kansas City on a Friday. By Saturday, I learned a thing or two. For up to then, I didn't have an idea of what the modern world was coming to. I counted 20 gas buggies going by themselves almost every time I took a walk. And then I put my ear to a bell telephone, and a strange woman started in to talk. What next? What next? Everything's up to date in Kansas City. They've gone about as far as they can go. They went and built a skyscraper 7 stories high, about as high as a building ought to grow. Everything's like a dream in Kansas City. It's better than a magic lantern show. You can turn the radiator on whenever you want some heat. With every kind of comfort, every house is all complete. You can do your grocery marketing and never leave your seat. They've gone about as far as they can go. They've gone about as far. They've gone about as far. They've gone about as far as they can go. With my high starched collar and my high top shoes and my hair piled high upon my head, I went to lose a jolly hour on the trolley and lost my heart instead.
With my light brown derby and my bright green tie,
He was quite the handsomest of men. I started to yen, then I counted to 10, then I counted to 10 again. Clang, clang, clang went the trolley. Ding, ding, ding went the bell. Zing, zing, zing went my heartstrings. For the moment I saw him, I fell.
I tipped my hat and took a seat. I said, I hope I haven't stepped upon your feet.
He asked my name. I held my breath. I couldn't speak because he scared me half to death.
As I started to leave,
I took hold of his sleeve with my hand, and as if it were planned, he stayed on with me, and it was grand just to stand with his hand holding mine to the end of the line.
A recording hit by the famous Mills Brothers seemed quite fitting for this big city show. Here's the band and the song, Cab Driver. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cab Driver and a great new arrangement by Jack Cleese. I guess once in a while, all of us who live in big cities get the feeling we want to get away from it all. And that seems to be the idea behind the song by our country gal, Ava Barber.
I've laid round and played around this old town too long. Summer's almost gone, yes, winter's coming on. I've laid round and played around this old town too long, and I feel like I've got to travel on. Want to see my honey, want to see him bad, want to see him bad, oh, want to see him bad. Want to see my honey, want to see him bad. He's the best man this poor girl's ever had. There's a lonesome freight at 12:08 coming through this town. I'll be homeward bound, yes, I'll be homeward bound. There's a lonesome freight at 12:08 coming through this town, and I feel like I've got to travel on. I've laid round and played around this old town too long. Summer's almost gone, yes, winter's coming on. I've laid round and played around this old town too long, and I feel like I've got to travel on. And I feel like I've got to travel on.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. What a good audience we have with us tonight. We've been located here in California now for about 30 years, but we still have some wonderful members of our early days in the Midwest. For all of our good friends in the Windy City, here's our salute to Chicago.
Chicago, Chicago, that toddling town. Chicago, Chicago, I'll show you around. I love it.
Bet your bottom dollar you lose the blues in Chicago.
Chicago,
The folks who visit all want to settle down.
on State Street, that great street, I just want to say, they do things they don't do on Broadway. Say, you'll have the time of your life. Bring all your friends, your kids, and your wife. Chicago, Chicago, my hometown. Chicago, my hometown.
We're so glad you could join us on our trip to the big city. Now, back in 1961, my special guest danced into our homes on the Lawrence Welk Show, and we've been in love with him ever since. Please welcome Bobby Burgess. Hi, Bobby.
Hi, Mary Lou.
So good to have you here.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, what do you remember about this show?
Well, the theme of the show was Big City, USA, and we were looking for a song to dance to, and Elaine came up with the idea of City Lights. She'd always wanted to dance to that song. And I thought, well, it goes back to Charlie Chaplin times, that song and that theme. And I thought, if we put Chaplin together with the song and put on the costumes, and then we could take them off and go into like a Bob Fosse type dance, a jazz dance, would have something kind of unique.
I loved it. It was great. I understand you had a special concoction. that you would take before the show? What was it?
Well, we did such a long day on Tuesday when we taped our shows. We did like 3 camera run-throughs and then a dress. And then right before the show, you needed a special little push. At least I did, doing all the physical work that I was doing and all. So I was talking to a wrestling coach one time, and I said, what do you do for your kids to get them up for the match? And he said, I give them an orange and some honey. So I tried that. So every time right before the show, between dress and show, I'd go over to the commissary and have a couple of spoonfuls of honey and an orange to give me a little extra push.
You still do it?
I still do it, yeah.
Fabulous. I understand you also have a famous Bobby Burgess 2-day diet.
Well, actually, it's Berdine Floren, my mother-in-law's diet. But, when I do my act with Elaine, I have to get into my little black jumpsuit again. So I have to diet a little strenuously. And so it's a 2-day diet. You take off 5 pounds in 2 days. So you have 2 eggs and grapefruit for breakfast, steak and tomatoes for dinner, and then prune juice right before bed. 2 days later, you lose 5 pounds, and it works for me.
Every time?
Every time.
Was there ever anything on the show that you wanted to do but didn't get to do?
I got to do everything on that show because we did our own choreography. I did everything from polkas to waltzes, Latin. I got to tap dance with the guys. I just did everything. So I just enjoyed 21 years of choreographing my own routines along with the help of my dancing partners.
Okay, the other side of that coin. Was there anything you wish you had chosen not to do?
Well, I wish I hadn't broken my foot at the Hollywood Palladium doing the polka, but we turned it into a positive because I had Sissy put on a cast at the same time, and we did songs on the show like, All We Need Is a Break, and I Won't Dance, Don't Ask Me, and then we even did it in Tahoe, did shows up there with the cast on. Yeah, and then I was doing a double death drop with Elaine one time and pulled my rotator cuff on my shoulder. And I dislocated my tailbone doing the Charleston. So those are things that I wish hadn't happened to me when I was dancing.
Do you have any particular number that you're especially proud of?
I think I have particular numbers with each partner. Barbara and I, my favorite number with Barbara and I, way back in the 60s. Well, actually, when she came back, when I was looking for a new partner after Sissy left, she did 11 shows with me. We did Wedding of the Winds on the county fair show. It was a Viennese waltz, and I really liked the way that one came off. And then Sissy and I liked the Balboa that we did, the fast bouncing dance. We did it to When the Saints Go Marching In.
I remember that.
Yeah, we opened our act with it when we went on the road. And then with Elaine, I think it was the first year we did a dance bolero to Bally High. And we created a new lift where she went up on my shoulder with one knee and loved the music and the nice setting. And Lawrence
I can still
Welk,
see that one.
That was a favorite of mine. And then Lawrence Welk liked us to do the English quick step. That was his favorite for all my partners. And he liked the little step called the flicker, where you put your feet together and your feet flicker like this. You go, ha, 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 Bobby and Barbara, ha, ha. Yeah, he loved that. Yeah.
With Dancing with the Stars being so popular nowadays, partner dancing is cool again, ballroom dancing.
That's right.
How does that, do you find that in your cotillion?
Well, I know that attendance at dancing schools went up 25% because of that
Really?
show. Yeah, but the kids love that show. They watch it and all. But yeah, I have 1,800 kids for cotillion ballroom dancing. All my kids teach for me with the cotillions. But yeah, they love to watch that, and they want to learn how to dance together again. After so many years of doing the twist and all the strange dances that kids were doing, they're back wanting to learn ballroom dancing.
Myron Floren passed away before we ever had a chance to interview him. And as his son-in-law, you got to know him in a way, not as a performer, but as a person. What would you like us to know about him?
Myron was real sentimental. I mean, he cried at the drop of a hat, not only at sad things, but at happy things, like at weddings and when my kids would do a recital, that type of thing. And he was quite a humanitarian. I mean, actually, it was an easy touch. There was always a stack of requests for him to fill charities. I mean, he always answered every charity with a check. There was never a time he said no. And, of course, he did the Myron Floren extravaganza so many years with the whole band and all the singers and dancers and raised thousands of dollars for Sentinel Valley Hospital's their heart wing. And the Lutheran Church, he did all kinds of benefits for like building funds in Palos Verdes and Inglewood and all.
He even had a nickname.
He even had a nickname. I thought you might bring that up. The band on the side nicknamed him Mr. Benefits, but that was a compliment, and he
was
laughed
always
at that.
available.
Mr. Benefits.
Well, you've practically made a second career out of traveling. What's the
Just
next
for fun.
Burgess adventure?
Well, last year, Christy and I went to China and Turkey, and this year we're taking the entire family on a safari to Africa and Zanzibar, so that should be fun. And then a little later, Christy and I are going to go to Berlin, Prague, and Krakow. So that should be an adventure.
Is there any place you haven't been that you still want to go?
We haven't been to the pyramids or the Holy Land. We'd like to see that. I'd love to see the Taj Mahal in India and Angkor Wat in Cambodia. And I think it would be fun to take one of those train trips across Canada with the entire family and stay in some of those great hotels that overlook the Rockies and all.
There's some beautiful scenery there.
Canada's beautiful.
You also have 4 fabulous kids.
Thank you.
Talk about them. Tell us what they're doing.
Well, Becky, the oldest one, the one that used to dance the polka on the Christmas shows, she is working behind the scenes on television and movies. She's doing set dressing and wardrobe and model shoots, that type of thing. Robert's a guide at Universal Studios Hollywood, which he just loves, and he's going back to school to get his credential to teach history in high school. Wendy, she and her husband, Raymond Pagels, live in Las Vegas now, which gives me a great excuse to go to Las Vegas and see all those great shows. And she's a concierge at the Venetian Hotel. And her husband, Raymond Pagels, who's Dutch from Holland, he is a beverage director at the MGM Grand. So they just bought their first house there, and so that's fun. And then Brent, my youngest, is still at home. He lifeguarded all summer at the YMCA, and he's at school now at Cal State Northridge, and he's studying film. So they're busy.
That's a full schedule.
That is for sure.
How about Christy, your wife?
Well, Christy got the brains from the Floren side. I'll tell you, she's so smart. And she went back and got her credential. She teaches at Sullivan Learning Center, mostly math. That's her specialty.
How long have you been married now?
Gosh, it's been 36 years. Yeah.
Wow. Where does the time go?
I know.
And is there anything you'd still like to do that you haven't accomplished?
I'm a happy man. I have a great wife and kids, and my partner, Elaine Baldwin, and I, we're still performing together. It's been 28 years. We've never had an argument. Of course, we're not married to each other. But, we just did a show with the Lennon Sisters and Big Tiny Little down in Palm Springs and Escondido. So I'm still dancing with Elaine, and, we love to travel, and I'm just happy doing what I'm doing. Yeah.
What do you think was the secret of Lawrence's success?
I think Lawrence loved his audience, and I think that's what he instilled in us. Know your audience. Go and give them what they want. I mean, we always put a waltz in our act, and we always polka. In fact, we even invite the audience to come up and dance the polka with us, because I think that's what they want to see, but to entertain them. I think that's what he taught us. And another little tidbit that he taught me, always finish with the music. He said to me one time, when the music stops, I want you to stop your dance. I said, like a musical father would give you advice. And so that's true, because sometimes on Dancing with the Stars, the music ends and then they'll do a dip, and I'm thinking, Lawrence wouldn't have gone for that.
Lawrence had a good eye for what was right.
Oh, yeah,
and
for
good
sure.
instincts.
Yeah.
If you could choose one word or phrase to describe him, what would it be?
Wonderful, wonderful. I don't know. I think he just was such a great innovator, and he hired people that really weren't slick professionals, and then they got better and better as they developed on the show. And he gave us complete reign. I mean, he let my dancing partners and I just create our own dance routines to that great music and do whatever we wanted to, which was really nice because, we're not from a choreographer. We are actually expressing ourselves through our dancing to his music, which was really something special. We're not doing a choreographer's thought. It's
right,
actually it's our own. Right.
Well, we hope you'll do it for years and years to come.
Well, thank you.
Because we love watching you.
Thank you. Love doing it.
And thank you so much for letting us be a part of your evening. So until next time, as Lawrence Welk always said, keep a song in your heart.